So I'm going to tell you about how we do PR as a DIY band. It's quite a lengthy process, and this is kind of years of information that we've gathered, and it's changing all the time. So I'll try and keep it as up to date and relevant as possible. It's also based on UK artists. I imagine there are different organisations in different countries for a lot of these things.
Yeah, that's very true. And brace yourself.
Yeah.
It's a PowerPoint presentation with Bridget Rose.
Ta-da! So, this is our PR advice for DIY musicians in 2022. We aren't experts, it's just our experience. And there are lots of articles and stuff. I'll link to some of them below from professionals in the field. If you want to be heard, if you want your music to be heard, you do need PR. It's just a sad fact of life. I mean, well, not necessarily sad, only sad in as much as PR is a big job. Don't underestimate it. There's a lot to it, as you're about to discover. Before you think about PR, you need to know what your identity as a musician is. Chris pointed out that I'd missed this from the presentation.
I don't know if it's a... Yeah, who are you? I'm going to stick my face on there with Ben Stiller.
I thought
someone told me I looked like him once.
Ben Stiller?
And I thought it was a compliment, but it really wasn't.
No, it is.
Well, it wasn't coming from the person that said it. Let's put it that way. But so what kind of music do you do? What are you making? What do you look like? What do you want your visual identity to be? God, this sounds awful.
It seems really obvious to us because it's inherently part of what we do. And for a lot of people, it's like that. But for some people who are just focused on their music, all of this stuff is kind of like not even considered. But it is important. Like if you imagine someone coming up to you off the street and going, hey, listen to my CD, there are all sorts of superficial judgments you're going to make about them before you go, will I listen to that CD or not? And having a clear idea of what you are is part of that. Having
some kind of consistency as well, just so that, in the off chance that someone sees you again and recognises what it is and liked it before, they might come and see you, come and check out what you've done again.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be super polished. Maybe your thing is that everything's, very rough around the edges. I mean, we've kind of got a bit of a DIY rough around the edges aspect to what we do.
What?
But, maybe your thing is you use, I don't know, AI generated art or MS Paint for all your CD covers or, whatever it is, you can turn it into part of who you are and what you are recognised as. So people know what they're looking at and hearing. So, PR, great for building your audience, but it doesn't actually earn you any money on its own. So, without PR, people probably won't hear what you're doing outside of your family. With PR, people might hear it and share it, and you might get followers on social media, which is lovely, but you won't actually earn money from that. You need revenue streams, and there are a few different ways to earn money. Rights management is the core one. It's quite complicated. There are several different organisations that operate rights management in different countries, and this is because of the sort of arcane legal structure around owning music and who makes money from music.
As music was first sold as sheet music, and then there was the mechanical rights, and then there's the publishing rights, and there's all different strands to what's going on there, and that all comes from the past.
Yeah.
From the ancient past.
So I've broken it down into the three main ones for the UK. PPL collects and distributes money for use of recorded music, and PRS collects it for the use of musical composition and lyrics, and then MCPS collects royalties for physical products, and they are actually part of PRS. So when you release music, you should be registering it with PPL and PRS. At the moment, PPL and PRS, I think they merged in 2016 and they're working on getting their stuff together. So it's only one portal. But at the moment, you still have to do it in two separate places. It's really complex and confusing and like doing tax. But luckily, they have lots of helpful videos on how to deal with it on their website.
And the websites are relatively clear.
Yeah.
Like if you make a song and you want to get it played on the radio and you want to get paid for that, you need to register with PRS. And we never used to use PPL, did we?
We never used to use it, but we have done recently.
Haven't seen anything from it. But PRS, in our experience, is really good. Now, do you have to pay to join PRS?
I can't actually remember. We didn't when
out.
We joined because we'd been on it for such a long time. But I think it does have a small fee now. But it's probably worth joining because like if you get one play on one of the major stations, like on BBC or something, it's like 60 quid or something.
I can't remember how much it actually is, but
yeah, it's quite a lot for one play. And if you manage to get on like a local radio station, that counts. You'll get played. You'll get money for that, basically, in your bank account. So that's one of the main ways of making money from your music. Not a lot of money, but, you know, it's good. Selling things, the other main thing to do. Go to Bandcamp. When you're selling digital downloads and CDs, Bandcamp is the best place to do it. They only take 10 to 15% of earnings. It's 15%, and then it's 10% after you earn $5,000 or something like that. There's a threshold.
No, that changes. It's only for the year, and then it clicks back up.
And then it clicks back up.
I think, yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, 10 to 15% is still really good. It's better than like paying for a Shopify shop and running that, which is quite complicated. And Bandcamp has the infrastructure of a shop in it on the website. It makes it really straightforward. And also people can discover you there because they have a good community full of people blogging about Bandcamp discoveries and things like that. Other ways to make money are subscription services, like Patreon's the most well-known one, but Bandcamp's recently launched a subscription service. We're obviously using Ampled, which is a cooperative, which we really like. They also offer a really low fee of 7% if you're struggling financially, which is really nice of them. Or you could try a tip jar service like Coffee, where they don't take any donation fees. They just charge you the card payment charges, which all of the sites have to charge because PayPal and Stripe.
Is that pronounced Coffee then?
I think so.
I always thought it was Ko-Fi.
Ko-Fi.
I've never heard anyone actually say it.
I think Ampled's pronounced Ampled, but I've heard people say Ampled. So I'm not actually sure about any of these. Patreon? Bond came. Bond comp. I like that. Bond comp.
Yeah.
So they're good. Just watch out for feeling like you're getting into a content treadmill on those. Like, don't feel like... I think Patreon kind of pushes the model. It's better for people who are producing regular YouTube videos and that sort of thing. You can feel like you have to produce a lot of extra stuff. So just set your own boundaries with those.
Mm-hmm.
And last of all, gigs and merch and selling merch at gigs.
Gigs and merch and gigs.
It's the other way we make money. There are loads of print on demand options, but you can make merch yourself, which is really nice. You can make limited edition stuff. It's obviously a big part of what we do. And we talk about that in BOOcast 4.
I just want to cut away from this just for a second. Because I on the subject of all of this, I think the most rewarding and the best thing is gigs. Because I mean, of all the people we've met and everyone we've become friends with over the years, it's never really happened online. Not generally, sometimes, but most of the people that are really in our lives now and we are connected with, it's all happened through just real life interaction, getting to know people and being there.
Yeah,
in a sweaty, giggy environment.
It's really important. And we've talked before about like after lockdown going to see gigs and how amazing that was and how much we'd missed it and how vital that connection is. And apart from it being amazing for us to be facilitating that and sharing it with you guys, we just meet amazing people. You guys are fantastic and it's magic.
Yeah, but you guys are fantastic. Also, I mean, we may have met some of you.
We haven't been able to play in some of your countries, but we will one day.
Yes. So back to the PowerPoint.
So that's making money. Now back to promoting your music. There are a few tools you're going to need. First of all, DistroKid is great for digital distribution and a hyperfollow page. If you care about Spotify followers, I'll explain the hyperfollow page later. DistroKid's great because it used to be you could not list your music on any of the major streaming services unless you were a label. But DistroKid, you just pay a nominal fee. I think it's £20 a year or something like that. And they will put it out there for you. And then there's MailChimp.
Wait a minute. How come DistroKid didn't get their logo? What's going on there?
That is their logo.
I thought they had
they've got a little guy.
Yeah.
That's their black and white logo.
Okay.
The little guy's green. This is all monochrome.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's always fit the scheme.
There's always a real graphic reason for something. Yeah. Yep.
So MailChimp for really nice emails and mailing list management. We'll go into why that's important later. Bitly makes links easy to remember. If you can get a free account with Bitly, and it just means you can customize the back half and you can track them if you want, so that you're not sending people to crazy long strings of numbers.
For example, if your band has a really ridiculously stupid, long, unrememberable name, like Battery Operated Orchestra, for example.
No one's going to want to type that out.
It's quite a nice thing to just give them something that's short.
Your website, very important. Maybe more important than everything. It's for hosting all of your information, your photos, your EPK, electronic press kits, a link tree, which I'll explain later, your shop. You can host a shop on your website if you want, or just link it up to your Bandcamp. It's a great place for people to register to your mailing list. And of course, you can blog there as well if you want to do that. Social media is very useful for finding your tribe and going viral, but I've put handle with care because there are myths around social media, and we're going to talk a lot about social media in this episode. But the idea that you can basically chuck stuff on social media and go viral is kind of a myth that the social media companies want you to believe. It doesn't really work like that.
And the other thing is that going viral isn't necessarily a good thing.
Yes, that's also not. Nobody wants to be a flash in the pan meme.
But also, I mean, people tend to go viral because, I mean, you've made a lot of people very angry. That's generally how it works.
The artist is in accord when the critics are in discord.
Yeah, but if everyone's screaming for your blood, that's. I mean, that's a kind of art, I suppose.
So you will probably need some social media. Maybe limit your channels. If you only want Instagram, that's fine. If you only go for the one that's gonna really connect with the people that you want to connect with. Streaming platforms, very useful for people to discover you and listen to you, not useful for making money. So yeah. When you're independent, I should clarify. I mean, big artists.
So perhaps can I just ask you, so what is PR? What does it stand for?
Public relations.
And what does that mean?
It's about... Oh, man, I've got so much to say. My brains are too full to speak.
Is it?
It's about how you create a need. This is in the manipulate. This is create a need in people for whatever you are selling. That's technically kind of what it is. And it's... I mean, the art of PR is sort of like, good PR is the art of propaganda, which I've just been reading the Book of Propaganda by Edward Bernays,
yeah. Whoa.
Which is very sinister because it's all about basically mind control and just manipulating people into doing things, which is not what we're doing. Just clarify. I'm reading that purely recreationally.
Honestly, we're just really nice people.
Yeah. But basically PR is just about getting people to look the right way and be interested in what you have to say. Long enough to maybe consider buying it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so where are we here? Let's go.
How much is PR worth to you? If you're an independent musician, you might not have a lot of money to spend, and you can spend quite a lot of money on PR. If you don't want to spend much, you could start with the old-fashioned method of sending CDs to radio. It can be quite effective if you build up a relationship with a DJ.
Yeah. Can I recommend Steve Lamacq? He'll play anything. The man's clinically deaf. No, that's not fair. But no, I've had great experiences with literally
He doesn't play anything.
He doesn't play anything. He hasn't
played everything we've sent.
No, he played everything I sent for my previous
he's played.
But make a nice handmade card and write something lovely in it and be personal and be like, hello Lamo, or whatever you want to call him. And it's actually worked. I mean, there are certain shows on BBC Radio. He's on 6 and he's on BBC 6 Music. Sorry, this is very UK centric. I'm sure you'll have. Also, there's the WFMU in the
US university radio stations are great. College radio stations are great as well.
So WRS.
Do some research. Find a DJ you like the people whose shows you like to listen to. Like we love Lisa Uber, WRSU.
WRSU,
kind enough to play a lot of our music. We don't know anyone at Kexp, but we keep sending them CDs
I
think
we have a Rutgers Illuminatus in the room.
I can't remember.
We can't see.
Have a look at the chat.
We can't see because there's a PowerPoint presentation happening at the moment.
Anyway,
but also WFMU are an amazing radio station.
Brilliant.
And
if you don't know WFMU, just go check them out. First of all, because it's completely listener funded and has been since the 60s.
Yeah.
It's freeform radio.
I should find that picture. There's a lovely meme that they've done, which is just a picture of an old boombox with a little piece of gaffer tape masking tape stuck to the top with writing on it, and it says, "Never shift from WFMU, even if it's shit." But the amazing thing about this station is it's just so eclectic, and all the DJs on WFMU have completely free reign to play whatever they like, and they're completely listener funded.
There's no playlisting.
There's no advertising.
And there's no advertising.
It's been going since the 50s. They rule.
So send CDs to radio. Make sure you send a little blurb about what you'd like to be read out about your stuff, because they're busy people and they want to have the clear information.
Are you going to talk about this later? Because we should say it now while we're on radio. Because remember, an average radio DJ is just looking for content. They need stuff to fill their show with. So if you can find a way of writing about yourself in the third person and basically give them something to read out as if they thought it up and said it themselves, there's a good chance that they'll use it. And
keep it to just a couple of sentences, because they also don't have much time.
Or give them a long one and give them a short one.
Give them a long and a short. Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, the illusion that the DJs are making their own decisions and choices all the time and saying stuff that's on their own minds is just that. It's an illusion sometimes. And if you can give them a chance to have a breather, here's a bit of content. Here's 6 minutes out of your hour-long show dealt with. You'll be, they'll love you forever.
It just makes. This is it. When you're approaching all of these people, yes, they're doing you a favor. So you want to make it as easy as possible for them. Give them exactly what they need with minimum amount of fuss. We'll go into that with the EPK. So that's a really good thing to do that costs very little money. You may see no return on it whatsoever, but you've lost 20 quid's worth of CDs. How bad is that? It's worth it. The other cheaper thing you can do is pay for SubmitHub tokens. Now, SubmitHub is a website that was founded by one of the bloggers of Indie Shuffle, I think, because they had so much stuff coming to them all the time and they just couldn't process it. So he's like, I'm going to create a place that connects people who are making music with curators. And there's a FAQ page there. I will paste the link in. Yes, you can buy $20 worth of credits and spend those credits at different blogs submitting your stuff. It's not pay for play, because they might say, I don't want to play it. And in fact, I went back through our SubmitHub history and how many credits we bought and how many outlets we'd submitted to, and we have about a 10% hit rate. So consider, how much that is worth to you, if it's something you think is worth doing for those 10% of blogs who are going to publish it, which is, I don't know, 1 to 2 out of 30. I can't remember. But yeah, it's not a lot, but maybe it's worth a lot to you.
10% would be 3 out of 30, wouldn't it?
3 out of 30, yeah. So it's not that much. Multitasking.
It's one of those things, though. So,
one of the tips is they say you get an option to choose. I'd like feedback, or I'd like people to listen for 90 seconds. I used to always choose 90 seconds because I was like, I don't want feedback. I just want you to like it or not like it. That's fine. But
basically, you don't want a 12-year-old with a beard telling you what you should be doing.
And
sorry to sound bitter.
I would advise, take the feedback with a pinch of salt, because some of these people are great, yeah, but some of them, their advice might not be relevant for you, let's say. However, if you request feedback instead of listen for 90 seconds, you're more likely to get your track picked, because they're listening attentively rather than just riding out the clock for 90 seconds. And there's a little article on that there. By the way, I'm going to share this whole PowerPoint with the AmpLed page so you guys can look at all these links at length.
Is it going to be all hyperlinked and everything?
Yeah, it's all hyperlinked and stuff, yeah.
Told you, set the VCR.
Yeah, so if you've got hundreds of pounds to spend, maybe you would like to pay to boost or promote your posts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and make sure you target your audience. Otherwise, it will just go to useless places. It works really well for businesses. We don't do it just because it's so expensive and it's a bit of a gamble for us. But
so I'm really distracted because our cat's meowing, yelling outside. So
yeah, she's finished playing with the shower drain cover. Yeah, that's something you can do if you've got more money. You can actually pay for articles or playlisting. Like for this single, I came across quite a few blogs that would say, you know, you can submit it to us, but if you want to guarantee a feature article, just pay us £40 or £60 or £70 for an Instagram story as well. And you can do that. And if it's an outlet with a really big audience who's like relevant to you, that might be worth doing.
Yeah, you hear sometimes about venues or promoters getting people to pay to play as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually had that happen.
It's generally frowned on.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. But if it's worth, you know, £40 to £70 to you to be on a really big blog and you have no audience at all and it might get you some exposure, then you could consider doing that.
Hundreds of pounds.
Hundreds of pounds. Let's go up to thousands. Whoa! So what would be ideal? Because all of this PR stuff involves you having to not be a musician, basically. You have to be that person who is selling you. You have to split your personality, and it's quite difficult, and we find it quite mentally taxing. Well, I do most of it, and it's hard. So
the reason you do most of it is because it literally deletes my ability to make anything. For some reason, because it's such a huge
it's hard
schism in the soul that it's really difficult to be those two people all at once. So this is why, if you've got thousands of pounds,
then you really want to get a PR person and maybe a radio plugger as well, because these people are experts. They have the contacts. Nothing is guaranteed with them, so you can pay a lot and maybe not have great results, and you can pay for press or digital or focus your money in different areas.
And again,
it really doesn't guarantee anything.
I think it's about relationships as well, because you've got to trust this person, which means you've got to like them, and they've got to like you.
Which brings me to my next point. If you're going to get a PR person, decent PR and radio pluggers will only take on sort of established artists. So if you have no followers or anything on social media and someone's going, hey, I can promote your album and it'll only cost you $1,000 or whatever, it might be a bit of a shifty deal where they're just going to hit batch send on their contacts and it won't be worth that much to you. You can let her in. She's meowing a lot.
Excuse me.
So beware of scammers. Yeah. Ooh, you're attached.
Yeah, carry on. Beware
of scammers and yeah, it's something that we would love to do if we could afford it, because it does pull a lot of focus from the creative process doing PR, and it is worth paying an expert. But do your research, find an expert that you trust for that. Now, on to planning a release. You need to tool up. Before you are like, oh great, I got a song, let's put it out. You need all of this stuff. Yes, that's Whoa. Keanu Reeves tooling up. So you need obviously the music, mastered WAVs, cover art, a lyric video or a music video. Nowadays, it's quite important to have some sort of video content to put online for people to see. Hit up your friends if they're good at that sort of thing, or learn how to do it yourself with basic software. Do that. Merch, if you're going to be releasing a CD or doing t-shirts or any of that, get it all ready before you're going to do the release. Band photos, you need up-to-date photos of yourself or your band. And band bio. So only then, once you've got all this stuff, can you set a release date. And the PR timeline is usually 1 to 3 months. Yeah, I know, it's sad. Because when we make something, you just want to put it out there. But it takes time to get people looking the right way so that they see and hear your stuff. Yeah. Premieres and embargoes, just a brief note. You might want to seek a premiere for your song or video. These are usually 2 separate events. You have to do it one publishing outlet at a time, because that's just courtesy. So it can extend the PR timeline while you're waiting for responses from outlets. If you do land a premiere, you have to make it clear that there's an embargo on your release. So don't play or share this before such and such a date, because busy bloggers will forget this. And I know quite a lot of DJs of all levels think that if you send them the track, it's ready to play. Just be extra clear with them and say, please don't play it until XX date. Premieres can be a nice thing to do, but I don't think we found any extra benefit from having premieres necessarily. I don't know. Anyway, I better hurry on. So here's an example 1 month single release plan. All the things you need to do. So 1 month from release, get a UPC. This is what you need for physical merch, a CD, a barcode, basically. You get ISRC codes for your tracks. This helps the rights management agencies track the royalties. Those are links to a place where you can get those. DistroKid, you need to upload, add the lyrics, note the ISRC codes, because DistroKid will generate ISRC codes for you. PRS, register your recordings. PPL, register the repertoire. You will need to put in the ISRC and PRS tune codes into PPL. Again, it just helps them with the tracking. And then Bandcamp, upload your music and artwork, but make sure it's private. That's all the distribution covered. So that's kind of the first important thing. Get your links in order. DistroKid, get your hyperfollow page. So the hyperfollow page looks like this. They make it automatically, and you can put in whatever links you want, but the main thing you get out of it is a Spotify pre-save page. This means a lot to people who are big on Spotify. The more pre-saves you get, the more of a sort of following you get, etc. So that's a nice thing that DistroKid does. Make that big again. Check your artist profiles are up to date. Update your photos on social media. Make a really nice thumbnail for your video so that people want to click on it. Upload the video, private or a scheduled premiere. Add a launch event to Bands in Town, so anyone who's following your band on Bands in Town knows when it's going to happen. And SoundCloud, you upload it there because a lot of the reviewers and blogs like a private SoundCloud link to listen to, especially for Submit Hub. That's important. Google Drive, you want your MP3s, WAVs, artwork, and your one sheet for the DJs in there. So that's all the links. All right. Now the promotion.
Hold on. So... yeah, this is pretty. You can see, can't you? This is.
I'm going as fast as I can.
we're going somewhere with this. I mean, we've got an announcement to make after all of this is through. So
yeah, it's nearly done.
It's nearly done. Okay, you head back. We can. No, it's okay. Don't apologise. But yeah.
There's a lot involved.
If this is feeling like a lot, then it's intended to feel like a lot. Because it is a lot. Here we go.
So finally, 1 month out of release, you can start doing the promotion stuff. So on your website, you want to create an EPK page. We used to just use a text document. You can do that. But I'll just skip over to it here. We've made a website page now, and it's a bit prettier. So this has all the info about the single, key links, short version, a long version of the bio, images, other videos and press, and the social links.
And you can stick this all in MailChimp, is that right?
You would link to that in your MailChimp, which I'll get to. MailChimp, create your electronic press kit email, send to yourself for forwarding. So this comes to the next point. Send your EPKs via your personal email. Do not ever batch send to the people you are asking to play your music, because it's cold and computerized and shows that you don't give a about whatever they're doing.
Are we being PG-13 today?
I don't know why I held that back. But
I've already sworn once.
Yeah.
Sorry, by the way.
So yeah, you want to
Glaswegian
make a personal connection with these people. This is you're asking for their time in something that they care about. They care about music, and they want your track to be good. They want to hear it and be moved by it. So be like, a great thing to do when you're looking for people to send to as well, if you don't know who to send to. Pick an artist you like that's kind of similar to you and see where they've had press coverage. See if you can find the people who've written those blogs or played their music and reach out to them and say, hey, I heard you played such and such. I really love them. You might like this that I've done. Here's all the information. And when you've got all this professional stuff ready to send to them, we've gone back to making their job easy as well. So yeah. MailChimp's great for creating a pretty email that looks like a web page, but send it to your personal email address and then send it out one by one with like Dear Simon or whatever their name is. Make it personal. If possible, keep a
spreadsheet of all the information, because you're going to end up, with any luck, you're going to end up communicating with like lots and lots and lots of people. And it's very easy to forget how you know them, where they're from, what they said, what they liked. And so if you can get a spreadsheet up and just every single address, just have a little note about the person, how you know them, who they are, what they like, something that you can sort of like, when you come to doing that sending out those massive numbers of emails individually, that you can remember what to say to this person. That sounds pretty cold and evil, I suppose, but it's the only way to do it.
Because you're sending it to so many people, you will forget. And it's nice because then you actually do build a relationship with the people who you keep talking to, because you do get to know them. And it's really nice. Like, there's a DJ I was checking in with the other day, and I was like, oh, it's so good to see you still have your radio show in New Zealand. He's like, yeah, it's 25 years this year. I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's nice.
Who's the guy? I've sort of forgotten.
Human Pleasure Radio.
Human Pleasure Radio. Check him out. 25 years.
Really cool. Anyway, I'll try and get through this. There's still quite a lot, but yeah. Okay, Submit Hub. Submit to the blogs. You go on there, buy credits. It's pretty straightforward. There are readmes about that. Spotify. You can pitch to playlist via Spotify for artists. Basically, once DistroKid's uploaded it, you can pitch it to playlists. It's an automatic process. You just have to fill out a form. 1 month from release, continued. This is the last page, I think, is the social media. And this will take probably as long as all the other stuff did put together. You need to prepare a timeline from now until your release date that is a bunch of posts, basically, that you're going to be putting out, reminding people to look at your stuff because there's something coming. There are scheduling apps like Buffer, Hootsuite, and Sprout. A lot of them are paid, so I just make things on Google Apps.
And what you're looking at now is the actual social media timeline for the Nightclub Mishap single, which you just saw.
I mean, a lot of people... The thing about the social media sites is that they will want you to be posting every day. Some people like tweet 5 times a day and do things. They want you to be pumping. You don't have to do that, and don't get overwhelmed and do more than you have to. I think it's very easy to end up down a rabbit hole of creating too much stuff for the feed rather than for yourself.
And then forgetting to write great songs because you're too exhausted.
So once you've done that, you might want to consider using a link tree. You see these on Instagram because Instagram doesn't allow links because they want you to stay in the app. Because that's their motivation. But anyway, you can link to all your important links in your link tree, which you can have in your bio on Instagram. So that's good to have. That's it for 1 month. Thank God. Okay, it's 1 week to your singles coming out. Hooray. All you have to do now is remind everybody. Just check in with the DJs, check in with your subscribers, and just remind people and go, hey, it's coming. I hope you're ready. And then release day. There's quite a lot here, but it's just one slide. Day before, if you have subscribers, then make sure they get it first because they're paying you all the time for your stuff and they deserve it, man. They're your supporters, so give them the stuff first. This is just basically a checklist. Make it public everywhere. Message your fans. Whoa, what's going on?
Oh, I have no idea.
Don't know what happened there. Promote it on social media. Email your fans. Ask them to share the video because more people share it, the better. Add lyrics to Genius. It just makes it more searchable. If somebody hears it and they're like, what's that song? Oh my God, this is taking so long. Sorry. Upload it. Amazing Radio, BBC Introducing and Fresh on the Net are great places to get play if you've never had radio play before. They support people, new artists. So check those out. And then I do have, follow up, chase people down, keep posting, repost reviews and shares. And then I have links for you. So you can cut, that's the end. Sorry, that took so long.
Should we leave those links up or should we?
People will be able to watch this and hit pause.
Okay, hit pause and write those down, all right.
I'm aware that was quite long.
After all that, if you still feel like you want to make music, well you
done.
Must be made of galvanized steel.